Hi, welcome to the F5 Summit 2010. Some Dev Central Live coming to you from Chicago this evening. It's been a great event, lots of great discussions going on. We've got a special guest here with us this evening, Tim Abbott from Trace3. How are you, man?
Doing great.
Good.
Thanks
so, yeah, hey, glad to have you here. So, you're one of our most valued partners. First of all, tell us what you do and tell us about Trace3 and kind of some of the accolades you've earned in the last year with F5.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Trace3 is a systems integrator based out of California. We have 5 offices across the west side of the U.S. We are nominated this year as F5's Partner of the Year and Systems Integrator of the Year, as well as ARX Partner of the Year.
Wow.
So yeah,
you've got the full gamut. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've actually adopted all the F5 products really well, and we've been able to run with those products.
Cool. Very cool. So, I love talking with people that know all the products because, you know, some people specialize in certain products. A lot of customers maybe have one product, typically LTM, right? So maybe tell me, you know, as a partner that spends a lot of time talking with customers about that whole gamut. I mean, you know, what kind of interesting trends are you seeing with users out there? What are customers trying to do? Any interesting things happening out there that you see?
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool things going on in the industry right now. I think for us, one of the benefits we see is IT has taken a huge hit financially over the past 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
And in doing that, there's some dynamics coming out of that, which is there's less staff handling the IT resources that they have. And what happens a lot of times is you see the IT organizations just reacting to problems. They're just quickly reacting, they're trying to just shoot from the hip, they're trying to just jump to something and fix something that's hemorrhaging in their environment. And what we've found is, in a lot of our customers, they come to us with a problem. They're running out of performance on a website, or they're running out of storage capacity. And the cool thing about knowing the F5 product line and knowing all the different F5 tools we have at our disposal is we're able to go in there and say, I understand you think the problem might be performance-based. The problem really is maybe you haven't gone virtualization yet. Let's talk about virtualization. Let's see how virtualization can help you.
Sure.
We could sell you product X and fix the immediate need, but we really make this a long-term strategic partnership and actually look at how can we look at getting you to the next levels of whatever that solution might be.
Interesting. So a more holistic approach of saying how do these things, I mean, because it's like a Band-Aid. Sometimes you can fix one part, but you know, it's in 6 months you're going to have a different problem, and that tactical investment, particularly in times like these, is not probably a very smart one. It may feel like the safe one, but it's probably not the safer or smartest long-term one.
Absolutely. Cool. And a lot of customers are finding these days, we can fix one immediate need, but if we just fix that one need and we start doing a Band-Aid approach to their solutions, we're not looking at the bigger picture. We're not looking at where do you want to get you 2 to 3 years from today. If they are approaching virtualization, you know, there's a lot of moving pieces to virtualization. There's the F5 aspect of it, there's the F5 virtual appliance we can put in there, there's storage tied to it, there's a lot of different pieces to that type of solution. So usually when we approach a customer, we usually look at the whole thing from a multi-year project and say, well, here's where we want to get you 5 years from today. How do we fit in the different solutions and across that 5-year time period to fix your needs?
Yeah. You know, I was talking with one of our MVPs earlier today about the notion of the reactive IT organization versus the proactive or the instrument of change. And it's I always think of it as like this wave, right? You know, the reactive are always on the back of the wave, and they've always got that list that John Matthews, our CIO, talked about today. It's like, and Dan, Matt, and I were talking earlier about how his list of high priorities, top priorities, like 27, and it's going to go to 40. And like low priorities, there's like nothing down there. It's all high priority. And it's hard to balance that being reactive to need versus driving change that's going to benefit all. So that's probably a lot of what you're helping people figure out how to do with the technology. Are there any interesting examples? You don't have to name names, but are there interesting examples of how customers have maybe kind of embraced this model to try to deal with the immediate issues, but also kind of set them on a trajectory of more success longer term?
Absolutely. So we've had great success with the ARX product line. And the ARX is one of those great tools that we can come into an environment, and just like you said, the customer says, well, here's my top 5 priorities. I need to increase my storage. I need to find ways to fix my backup. I need to get better performance out of my storage. And in their top 3 priorities, it might be buy backup software. It might be buy more storage or look at a different solution. And you look at those top 3 and you're like, like, well, that's great, and that's really cool. I like those 3 approaches, and we'll sell you a product for each one of those. We're not going to turn around the order.
Yeah.
But a better way to approach is, let's talk about ARX. How can we tier your data across the platforms better? How can we leverage your technology that you're already using?
Yep.
And when we look at ARX, you look at how people are spending their budgets. We have many accounts where a majority of their IT budget is on storage. With VMware sprawl, with unstructured data, it's getting crazy.
It's really, I mean, storage is cheaper, but we're gobbling it up, and the growth is happening faster than the price is declining, right?
Absolutely. If you build it, they'll just fill it up.
Yeah. Wow. So when you think about it, and this is an interesting, ARX is a really fascinating solution. I've always been very fascinated by what it does, how it works. It seems like such a logical solution to provide some efficiencies, some economy, but also some, I don't want to say leverage, but it gives the customer some freedom of choice, right?
Yeah.
And for people out in the community that maybe have heard a little bit about ARX, but they're not really sure how it works. I mean, you talked a little bit about maybe the pain points, but if someone's saying, am I a candidate for ARX, what would you be asking? What would you be saying are good indicators that they should consider it?
Yeah, so the analogy I like to use with ARX, and I think it works really well, is ARX is like that junk drawer you have in the kitchen.
Okay.
The spot where you just throw
You don't want to see mine. You don't want to see mine.
Exactly. Some people it turns into a drawer, it turns into multi-drawers, and then it's the whole garage.
Exactly.
The whole garage is their junk drawer.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about
I got that going too.
yeah. The cool thing about ARX is that when you approach people and you say, hey, you have all this storage, you have all these requirements for unstructured data, and you want to help them clean that up. And everybody wants to clean up their garage. Everybody wants to clean up that junk drawer, but they're so scared of it. They're so scared because they go in there and they find there's 20 keys, and they have no idea what the keys belong to. But they just know that key is really important, and someday they'll find the lock for that key.
Yeah.
So when we talk to customers about their data, and we start asking them the really deep dive questions of, where's the most important data for you? How long do you want to keep that data? Mm-hmm. What data is not important? Because 20 of those keys, 19 of them might be just garbage. You can throw them out, and they're wasting space, valuable space. And we find a lot of accounts where they're spending all this money on backup, all this money on tape, on storage, on network components, on all these different aspects, because they're not getting rid of the stuff they don't need and prioritizing the stuff they do need. And it's amazing when you do that, because the unstructured data is like that junk drawer. You don't want to do it because it takes too much time. It's going to take up your weekend to clean it up, and people just go, I'd rather go to the beach. Forget this junk drawer nonsense. But if they just do it and they clean that up, it makes them feel so much better about their environment. They now know, I'm using my storage more effectively. When I have to buy more storage, I'm not just buying it and putting it in a black hole. I'm actually using it for a purpose, and it's actually helping me. So it's kind of a win-win. We get to fix the problem, and at the same time, people feel good about their environment now.
Yeah.
They're no longer scared of that junk drawer. They can open it and go, that's exactly what I needed, where I needed it, in a timely manner.
And I also, the biggest thing is there's a place for stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a place that it goes, and you've got a game plan. If you need to organize or do more, you can expand it and deal with it. Because that's always the tiering. I think that's the coolest thing. It's one of the most rational technology implementation ideas I've heard in a long time. Because a lot of technology, it sounds like it's cool for technology's sake, but the fact that you can tier stuff off, you can if you don't need it, put it on cheap storage. That's always fascinating. So it's like knowing. Your analogy is one of the best I've heard, because it's like it makes sense. It certainly seems like a good way to frame it for folks not familiar with the technology.
Absolutely.
So you also obviously do a lot of work with LTM, GTM. We find obviously that when customers use those together, acceleration, that type of stuff, they get some kind of manifold benefits. Any interesting stories about customers? Some stuff you see going on out there with virtualization, using LTM, GTM. I mean, what other cool things, stories can you tell us about what people are doing?
I think virtualization is really interesting, how it's changed the dynamics of IT, and it's really cool to see how people are leveraging VMware across the enterprise and now in production environments. And what we're finding is people now are starting to take that initiative and actually put a DR plan in place and actually get multi-sites. They're taking advantage of getting more cost-effective internet bandwidth in market X. So we're finding that people now are much more flexible in their IT infrastructure.
Interesting. Okay.
A couple years ago, you were tied to one data center, and you stayed at that data center for almost your entire life.
And the footprint was so expensive and so brittle that you had no choice, right?
You had no choice. If you moved it, you're moving 500 plus servers, and there's no way to do that without huge outages.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple guys here on the team that have hands-on systems experience of racking and stacking lots of servers, like thousands of boxes, and it's like, that's a quick question. Like if management says, is it viable to do this? The question's probably, no, it's not at all.
It's not. I don't want to stub my finger. I don't want to have to do 500 servers. And it just is too painful. So what we're seeing is really cool, is people will turn up data centers a lot faster. And now you talk about multi-data centers, you're talking about, well, how do I load balance across those data centers? How can I do a more effective job of getting my web traffic from the West Coast to the East Coast, so that way my end user experience, is that much more improved. I mean, you look at people today with iPads, iPhones, all these web-enabled devices. If their website isn't fast, up, and reliable, they're on to the next one. They'll go to the next site and do the next thing. So it's interesting, we see people deploying virtualization that their data centers are popping up across the US. And when they do that, they need an LTM device, a GTM device, they need web acceleration, and they need it in a simple form factor. And that's where F5 really comes into play. It's great. We can get virtualization out there, we can handle the server requirements, but how do we handle all the other aspects of that website, or the application for that matter? A lot of people are just application delivery through F5.
Interesting, yeah. When you talk about the multi-data center stuff, Dev Central, we run in a multi-data center environment. We use our own stuff, and I would say it's kind of funny. I've been at F5 for almost 9 years now, and so it used to be called a different product, 3DNS for some trivia for anybody who wants to. But GTM is ARX is cool because it's rational. GTM is just cool because it does just really wickedly interesting stuff with path probing and all of the ways that you can understand how to get people to the best performing resource. And you combine that with web acceleration. That's pretty cool stuff too. So you're absolutely right. The 4-second rule is paramount if people want to deliver web apps or properties. People don't use it. They don't keep, if they don't get that kind of performance or faster, they're gone to the next. I think it's gone in 4 seconds or something like that. I think I may be quoting a report that I read somewhere or something like that. But it's a serious issue. So using it all together makes a difference.
Yeah, and as you find the generations that are coming up, and my daughter now, she was on just PBS Kids the other day, and it didn't come up quick enough. She closed the webpage down. She was done. She closed it, walked away, and started playing with toys again.
The short attention span kid theater that's like, wow, if it's not fast, I don't like that website.
And it's just going to get more and more like that. I mean, it might be 4 seconds a day, but in 2 years it's going to be 1 second. If it doesn't come up instantly, you're gone.
Interesting, yeah. Well, absolutely using all that stuff together like that, I think is a great example of like the combined benefits you get with it. So, well, listen, this has been awesome. I really appreciate taking some time to sit down with us today, and congratulations on an awesome year. We appreciate your business and all the things you do to help our shared customers. It's a great partnership we have. So thank you, and hope to see you out in the community too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. Hey, thanks, Tim. All right. Bye. Bye. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for some more video later on this evening, hopefully. And we'll catch you later from the F5 Summit 2010.